Hey, what's up, people? It is Friday, September 19th, 2025, 6:21 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's like the major indices hit all-time highs this week. So did gold, so did silver, and the dollar overall has been dropping down, but finished the week. Look, it had a hit a low this week and finished the week with bottoming tail, almost doji looking thing there. So it looks like the momentum is drying up momentarily. It's either going to base out and go up or maybe drop some more. VIX closed right over here, but hit a low of 1412 a couple weeks ago. So pretty interesting. For me, I had a lot of practice day trading options going long, mainly calls because it was overall everything was in an upward trend. But while in a couple of pullbacks of an upward trend, I was able to go long on some puts, but I was taking profits really quick on the correction side, basically. So it was something like kind of scalping in here. In this case, obviously it would be long, and then boop, a little bit of correction right there. This is not one that I did. I really don't know how this CDE came out here, but just as an example of in these little pullbacks. But for the most part, it was day trading, taking like scalping trades off 5 minute chart with call options, and going out. I was going out when I first started experimenting with it. I started with this closest contract mainly because I knew I was going to be, regardless of the profit or loss, I planned on closing it at the end of the day because it's a day trade. But I was really going with small, trying to catch small movements, less about this about seeing or less about making money and more about seeing can I appropriately read the charts and open a position and close the position profitably. If that profit was $10, if that profit was $100, anything was okay for me. Now, hopefully this doesn't need to be said, but as more and more trades start racking up under my belt, I started pushing for higher and higher profits. And I came to a realization that because of so more than one, I've came to multiple realizations. One, to go back to the contract length. At one point, I realized, you know what? This is out of all these contracts here, this one's getting hit the hardest with theta. So why don't I at least go out a week or 2 weeks? Even though I'm going to pay a little more, I'm still paying less than if I was going out 3 months or something like that. If I was going for more of a swing trade with an option position, but at least at, um, at least at the beginning of the week, this 7 was closer to a 14. And I was thinking, at least I have, if my worst case scenario is I, for some reason, don't want to close it, it gives me a little more time because I wasn't really necessarily looking to make a whole lot of profit. And then as we got closer to this number being 0 and this number being 7, I started switching over to the 14 day. And it wasn't really that bad. Overall, all the contracts that I was purchasing were right around right around 1500, somewhere a little more, somewhere a little less, and it is, that's the wrong, it's going down the wrong way. Yep, right around there. I was like right around. You might say that's 11. That's not close to 15, but I think 11 is closer to 15 than 24 is. Whatever. It's a little bit relative. So so as I continue to build out my day trading blueprint, uh, probably going to keep it around um, the 14, right around 14, maybe 21 days. We'll see. I'm gonna continue to play with it. The other thing, another insight that I had that I would like to share with you is that it seems like the way that I'm pursuing this with support and resistance and entering off support resistance or moving averages, it it would appear that that taking a profit around maybe, let's say, the at the most $50 for one contract. So obviously, if I had two contracts, that'd be $100. But instead of trying to get $100 out of one contract, attempting to get $50 out of one contract. Now, this might not be applicable. The same profit might not be applicable with different stocks. Like I was using Tesla quite a bit, and the amount that Tesla moves because of the the beta, relatively high beta, and let's see if I can, and this with an ATR of round 15, and it tends to move quite a bit in a day. So with that, to catch a dollar move on a 5 minute chart wasn't really that hard. And most of the contracts that I was buying, they were right around a, I got the Theo price. Let's change this over here. They were right around a 50 delta. So for a $1 move, you're getting about a a $1 move in the underlying stock. You're getting about a $50 move in the option premium. So that seemed to be a lot easier to be scalping a dollar on Tesla versus $2. And there was multiple things that I really learned. It was fun. This was my first week of really dialing in on day trading, and I was still monitoring my other positions, but for the majority of the week, I was focused on getting reps in with day trades to work on figuring out a system that's going to be profitable for me. And back in 2012, when I first started finding some success with options in general, what I was doing is I was day trading. I didn't fully realize that I was day trading. It's kind of embarrassing to admit this, but nonetheless, I didn't actually realize I was day trading, but I was opening and closing positions in the same day by going long either a put or a call, depending on, at that time I was using a lot of stochastics. So depending on what when the weekly stochastic and the daily stochastic lined up, I took a position, either a put or a call, in the direction that these stochastics were lined up. And then I was working full time, 6 days a week, 10, 12 hours a day, mall open the mall close at a kiosk. And so I would wake up around 5, I don't know, whatever time, early when the market's opening. And if you're thinking why are you waking up around 5, it doesn't open at 5. It opens at 9. Well, I was living in Hawaii at the time, and it was 5 to 6 hours behind, depending on the mainland daylight savings time. So I'd wake up 4:30, whatever, kind of half asleep, half awake, looking to see what was going on. Make sure these stochastics are lined up, which I looked at the night before, so I was kind of familiar with everything, and then put a position on, and then set a limit order. And at that time, I was setting a limit order. I would set a profit of like to take a profit of like 25, $30, something like that. Something that I felt was kind of small. I At that time, like I knew the term delta, but I didn't fully understand, and I didn't have enough I guess understanding of charts and to figure out like, hey, if I'm entering here at 420 and then it goes up to um 440 and it's about $50 gain per contract. So let's say a $2 about $100 for every $2. I don't know, like it's embarrassing to think about this, but at that time, I guess it's the learning process. But nonetheless, so have had some experience with day trading, but not really since then. Just a little bit. The last time I was really spending time day trading, I was around February of this year. And what I was doing then is because I have since, I don't know, I guess somewhere around really 2013, really remember starting to sell options. And then by 2018, I got hardcore into selling cash secured put options. But since about 2013, I became like a net option seller. And I don't think I bought any options in 2013 through 2000, even after 2018. I don't think I bought options for almost like a decade. And then, so what I was doing in February of this year is if the stock seemed to be going up, and when I say seem to be, I'm not, I'm saying seem to be based on looking at what's going on in the day, what's going on the day, what's going on in the week. I'm gonna clean that up. There's just too much garbage in here. Let's get this out of here. And hopefully this is a weekly chart. What's going on in the week? What's going on in the day? And then what is going on in smaller time periods? And even though I'm not using stochastics anymore, I am using moving averages. So switch this, make sure this is switched over to, okay, good. It is a weekly time frame. I noticed that somewhere. Okay, time frame, week. Perfect. That's what I want. So weekly chart going up, daily chart going up, 6 hour chart going up, 3 hour chart going up, hour chart going up, and then I'm obvious. I don't know if it's obvious, but if whether it's obvious or not, the 5 minute chart is going to have the most fluctuations, and then the 15 minute chart the second most. So waiting for the 15 minute to get in alignment with the hour, and the hour, in alignment with these higher time frames, and then the 5 minutes. So when it looks like or it seems like the stock's going up on the day, I mean, maybe it's overly, it seems like there's a lot of evidence here to really kind of conclude. Now, it doesn't mean that it's going to go up, right? Things can happen where day started off as positive but ended as negative. So in here, which I did not day trade at all today since it was option expiration date, but in the morning, giving overall, I felt like it was best to give it about 15 minutes, see how the first 15-minute bar closed in relationship to everything else. And then because that gives me a solid 15-minute bar, it gave me three 5-minute bars. So going up, but look this, look at that. Got this candle went all the way up here and selling pressure pushed it back down to here. So it's like, how far is it going to go up? So yeah, that might not make a whole lot of sense to people, but I will tell you what, it is making sense to me. So once I dial in a system with one contract that is um, that is working consistently on a highly probable basis, then I will move up to two contracts. The other thing that I want to dial in more is different type of uh, different type of orders. So some of these things can start closing out automatically. I think one of the things that I wanted to mention is that with so what I'm doing is I'm basically looking like, okay, so right now the stock is having a hard time getting above this resistance. Right? If we see in here, it's chopping around in here, and then it's trying to get over this whatever number that is. It's not making it. It drops down here, and if we see that it's been low, higher, low, but it's not really breaking this top right on that top side. Not really. It's having a hard time breaking this. So it pulls back over here. Once I see something like this, uh, long wick to the bottom and this strong candle up to the top, I might consider to go long. And then once it gets back up here into this area of resistance, I'm taking profit. And that might be, that's probably about two, is that, if I entered somewhere around 25, this is, what number is this? At 25.50. Okay. So that's about $1 movement. And again, like at least on Tesla, what I was finding is that dollar movement, that there was a lot, at least what I experienced this week, there was a lot of ranges of $1 that I could, I don't know if you want to use the term scalp, day trade, whatever type, whatever proper noun needs to go in there, just go ahead and insert that. But it's like this little dollar range. And then when I started pushing for like a $2 move, which I got one time where the stock moved up to hit my price target. But you know what? Here's the thing. The thing is these. Maybe this will help us out. These, the Greeks. So I'm figuring out a way, which when I say I'm figuring it out, I'm sort of softly hinting that I already figured it out and I just need to dial it in more. But figuring out a way that I can enter, kind of like I explained here, have a price target up here that I think it's gonna hit. But the problem when I picked a like a $2 move, I was right in this $2 move in Tesla. But what I was wrong on is what price the option would be when it got to that $2 move. So unfortunately, even though I'm watching the stock go up, I'm like, yes, I'm gonna be closing out of this position. This is a good profit. It got up there, but it was just like $10 off. And so that really was counterproductive to that particular trade for the day. And and so working out a way to close out not based on the the price of the option, but the market price of the option when the stock hits my price target on a chart, and it's coming together. And I'm really really excited about it, and I hope you are excited about your trading as well, because it is a fun thing for me. And there was some other stuff that lots of stuff. There's so much learning that I'm experiencing sitting in front of the computer for market open to market close 5 days a week and watching things unfold, mainly testing things in my real money account. But I've got my paper money account open on another computer for more screens, more charts, and if I just want to paper trade something. So it was a great week. I'm really happy about it, everything. And if you're big into the market, you might notice that I didn't mention anything about the Fed news, Fed announcement, whatever, cutting what 25 basis points. And the reason why I didn't mention anything about that, and I did listen to Jerome Powell speak, listen to the whole thing, and then listen to some people's interpretations of it afterwards. But it was pretty fun to listen to the whole thing and watch the markets do what they did during that time and afterwards. But the reason why I haven't said anything about it, and I probably really won't say anything about it, because even though I'm familiar with what it is, I am at a either I'm always going to be like this, or it's just my current education and experience with the stuff that I'm more of listening to what I feel other people that are more experienced than I am, what they have to say about it versus pontificating about what I think about it. I'd say based on results, I'm getting familiar. Maybe if you don't mind me being so bold, it's possible that I am getting to a point where I could be developing some proficiency. Now, I want to acknowledge I'm a sandbagger. I'm a person that really views skill as an important thing. So I'm not going to be saying that, I'm mastered this if I think that I'm not close to it. I would much rather say that I'm starting to get proficient while I'm already proficient, which I don't think I'm proficient. If I thought I was proficient, then let me rephrase that. Maybe in about 6 months, 6 months, maybe 12 months, I think I will be very proficient at reading charts as I enjoy day after day, Monday through Friday, of sitting in front of a computer, watching 5 minute charts, watching 15-minute charts, watching option premium. So I've got basically something like this. This is in my paper trading account. So my real trading account is set up a little bit differently, but it's set up something like this. I got a weekly chart, I got a daily chart, and then I got some two volume profiles right here. Then I got the 3 hour, 1 hour, 15-minute, 5 minute. I don't particularly feel like I need a minute chart. I think the 5 minute chart is working well for what I'm doing at the moment. So I've got that over on another screen over here, which you can't see. And then I've got sometimes I got this pulled up, and I'm watching, and I'll do something like this if I'm going to go long, watching how the option premium is moving in correlation with on another screen watching this, and then I've got another screen that I'm on my paper trading computer that's something like this, where I've got multiple stocks pulled up in here, watching the S&P 500 via the SPY, and definitely watching the VIX. And as I mentioned before, I really love selling shorts. I really love selling strangles on the stock. This one I had to roll, as I mentioned, just a variety of different stocks that somehow I'm actively trading. Sometimes I'm looking for an opportunity to trade them. Some of these I had positions close out on this week, like SMCI and ASTS. I don't necessarily trade all the time, but I will look for the right opportunity for these. These two I really like because of the option chain. Have I not pulled up that lately? Let's take a quick look at that. I really like I really like this one. Got to look at super high implied volatility, and let's say going into next week. Look at this down here at the 2 delta. There's still premium. Obviously, it looks a little bit wonky, right? It's got 2 and then jumps up to 3 and then 4 and 6 delta. So something's off a little bit, but it looks like going into Monday for something like let's change this, something like where, and we'll do this too. We got about a almost $9 difference. So what I'll do is kind of try to familiarize myself with stock price. Let's say if the whole week just were to be a down week, and just going to round up to 9. So ATR puts that at about 36. This is less, obviously. It's about 4.5. So where's that 36? So let's see at 35. It got a little pivot here, kind of pivoted here, got down here and pivoted and kind of broke above that. So it seems like on the weekly, seems to be some support resistance area at 35. Anything at 35? Go way the heck down here. It's way the heck down here. 3 delta. And then if you're thinking, well, that's not much money or whatever. I know it's not a lot of money, but you know what? It's also not a lot of buying power. It's not a lot of buying power. So ASTS, SMCI, I kind of will add, I will, I will add in some short options on these 2 stocks because I'm able to, number one, the buying power because the stock is low priced and I'm selling considerably away from the money, which I'm able to because of the implied volatility, just the way the option chain is. However, so I'm able to sneak these in here. So if I'm on, like, let's say Wednesday or Thursday, and I'm like, okay, my positions are doing good, everything seems to be going well. Let me start nickeling and diming, and I'll try to get, like, start off with, can I get 20? Where can I get $20? If I can't find 20, can I find 15? Can I find 10? Can I find 5? Whatever it is, if I'm just like, if I'm nickeling and diming, like, I think this week, I think on Thursday, I added um, short puts on ASTS and SMCI, and just far out of the money, nickeling and diming, but it just all adds up. It all adds up, and it's working for me. It probably wouldn't work for you. I know you guys, big ballers. You guys, you and Ken Griffin, trading a Citadel strategies, but for a small fish like me, sometimes these $15 premiums plus a 75 here, maybe a 50 over there, a couple 25s here or there, all throughout the week they end up adding up and kick in some dividends. kick in some, see if we can be profitable. We being I, see if I can be profitable doing some day trades throughout the week. So it's going good overall. Finishing up, let's see, the 23rd of this month, the 23rd, I got here August 23rd. I arrived in the Eastern Standard Time Zone. So almost 1 month. For first 2 weeks, it's kind of an adjustment period to the time, kind of getting adjusted now. Maybe not kind of, maybe I am. I don't know how to tell. But yeah, anyways, so far so good, long-winded, and gonna wrap this up. In about 8 minutes, I have a market-related call at 7 p.m. So I'm gonna go get ready for that. You guys have a fantastic weekend, and yeah, I'll talk to you later. Aloha.